What is up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night. Looky here. Looky here. Man, we had a great weekend. Barbecue is in full force. Florida was kicking butt. California had stuff going on. Just crazy things going on in barbecue. I love it. Big things going on tonight. We got a lot to talk about. What's up, Nick? Congratulations. Great job up there at your contest down there in Florida. Good job, Sailor. And I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Man, we had some awesome things going. Tanya's coming on. We took the barbecue class. Adam's at a fire meeting tonight. We're going to let him go off and do his fire thing. But it's every other Monday. We got that. But Tanya, she loves coming on to talk. So she's decided she'd come on and talk with me about our class this weekend. But while I got her on, I might ask her if she's willing. I might ask her some other questions. What's going on in barbecue right now? I mean, we've got Lakeland was a big one. The FBA event down there at Apalachicola was a big one. There was a double over there in California. Brad got him another grand. Crazy. I'm telling you, I'm going to bring this up in a second. I think it's very important, especially for our contest. But man, too cool. Great things going on. I am a certified barbecue judge with KCBS. I took the oath. I did everything I was supposed to do. And boom, here I am. I am a certified judge. Wow, how exciting. And I'm going to bring Tanya in right here. Let's go, Tanya. Hey, real quick, before you go, like the page, share the page, join our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do all that kind of cool stuff, and let's just get this thing rolling tonight. We have got a big show, don't we, Tanya?
Lovely show.
Lovely show. I tell you what, I can't wait. Tanya, we're judges. Finally, right. After this, how long has it been? We've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And Udi, we decide we go up there and take the class in beautiful Greenwood, South Carolina. We love some Greenwood. My favorite part about the class, about going to Greenwood. What do you think my favorite part was, Tanya?
Going to breakfast.
Well, that too. We love breakfast, but after the class, I went to my favorite store.
Favorite store, yes.
Oh, I love that store down there in downtown. I think it's Brian Lindsay's great store. David Lindsay. I'm Brian. David Lindsay. Love that store. Cannot get enough of that. You go to Greenwood, you got to go to that store. Amazing stuff. Got me some cool stuff. But we did have us a good breakfast for sure. What's up, little gringo? Hey, glad to be in the judging family. Are you glad to be a judge, Tanya?
I am glad to be a judge.
All right.
I start trying to get some of those judges in on those burns on Friday nights. Since we don't chase points, I might just start judging on Friday nights.
I'm telling you what, it's exciting. It sure is exciting. What was your experience? What did you think? What did you think about the class?
It was interesting. I was wondering how it would be, the difference between being a cook and being, someone off the street going into a judging class. So it was, to me, a little different for me. Seeing some of the stuff, I don't think I learned a lot as being a cook at the class, but maybe some of the other people that didn't know anything about barbecue might have took away more. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think it was I'm just glad to say I'm a certified judge,
that's
right? Like we've been there, went to the class, did the class. Nothing earth shattering here, guys. Whatever. But what was one thing you took away from the class?
How my idea was right. How, we are in a cooking sport and everybody's palate is different. And I clearly saw that, and how everybody's opinion on bad can go from a 5 to a 9. Like, everybody is different.
Everybody's different. And that was what was kind of cool. We got to learn. We were shown the way it's supposed to be going, and this, that, and the other. And, there was 5s given out all over the board, 5s and 6. I would say 5s, 6s, and 7s were more prevalent than 7, 8s, and 9s. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Which
I had to never see in a contest on my boxes. That's what everybody was given at this class.
It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. And I want to get into it. I'll start talking about it. So Todd, if you want to ask me questions, I'll be the one that answers the questions. You don't have to answer any of them. But if you want to go ahead and ask me some questions, what we thought or go over it, I'd love to talk about it.
Well, what was your overall impression when you walked in with the class?
So my overall impression, we went to, so I'll just back it up. I met Adam and Tanya. We carpooled up together. We went to breakfast right there in downtown Greenwood. Got excited about it, had fun, walk in there. Didn't expect to know anybody. And as soon as I get there, a lady at the front's like, "Oh, I recognize you from that Facebook show." I was like, "Oh, great. Going to be awesome." But Greenwood, Gibson did a great job, had everything organized. You walk in, the check-in was great. You got your name tag. You showed him your KCBS card. Everything's great, right? Like, I mean, the room was set up, packed. I mean, we had 40-something people in there, plus other people. Like, there's reps and all kind of stuff in there. The Bigglers were the ones that were putting on the class. I thought they were welcoming when you got there, and everything was ready to roll. So that was my first impression was like, oh man, this is just like everything Greenwood does.
Yep.
Right? Greenwood is top notch, organized, ready to roll, great stuff, and that was it. Now the other question was like they're like, yeah, we're going to take the first 20. The way they do their signups is they take their first however many judges, they take them in numerical order, and however many judges, that's what they take. So that was kind of interesting to me. But yeah. What was your take on it?
I was under the impression, like at a lot of the contests, like, certain that they go through, they pick certain judges, stuff like that. But, it was like you said, it was interesting at Greenwood that whatever judge signs up, it's first come, first serve. And that's what they said. I was kind of really shocked at that because I'm like, okay, well, more than likely, all these new judges that we just got certified in Greenwood are probably going to be judging at Greenwood. And that's a little scary in a way. I think sometimes I would think the new judges is going to be scary. I'm hoping they don't get my boxes. But then I start thinking a different point of view, like such as Lakeland this past weekend. They had a lot of new judges that were certified on Friday night. And then there was 9 scores in the 700s. At Lakeland. So maybe we want some of these new judges because, we served all these people food at this class that was, boxes of 5s. So if they get our good barbecue, they're going to be like, what the crap is this? And we might get all them 9s.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could get 9 across the board. And I'm not taking anything away from the cook. I mean, the cook did exactly what he was supposed to do.
He served different stuff like this.
Yeah. They were told to do what they were supposed to do. So that had nothing to do with the cook. That was nothing. That was it. But it was just one of those deals where it was very interesting. It was very interesting. I did learn a couple things that shocked me, absolutely shocked me, that I did not know going into this. And we'll get into some of that kind of stuff too as we discuss this. But the new judges were not judging in Lakeland. I heard there were some new judges there.
Yeah,
but anyway. That's fine. I get all that. And I know that's a Friday night thing, and that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see. I'm really, really, really glad to see that judges classes are being offered because I think we need it. I think we need that in our sport. It's growing the membership. I think KCBS needs to grow their membership. They need to grow it in judges. They need to grow it in cooks. They need to grow it in organizers. They need to grow it in reps. They need to do all kinds of stuff for growth. And I think that's great. Glad to see it. Glad to see that they're doing all this stuff. But yeah, so that was my first take on it. What about you?
What, first take when we got there?
Yeah.
I thought everything was top notch when we got there. They were organized like you said, like they always are in Greenwood. We went straight in. We got our seats. We sat down. The class started right away, when we got there, and everything was on time. And I thought it was very organized when we got there.
Had the snack table. Had snacks there for it.
Of course, I wasn't
hitting at a ball, did we, Tanya? We didn't touch that at all.
I was fixing to eat some good barbecue, I thought.
Yeah. And all right. So then, all right. Keep asking me. Go. You can keep going.
So once the class started, Brian.
Yep.
And everything's starting, and we're going through the slideshows. What are you thinking about the slideshow presentations?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. It only took me 30 minutes into the conversation, into the show, for me to have an issue and me to raise my hand and run my mouth. I felt like there was some stuff on these slideshows that just weren't correct and weren't true, and the stuff on there that was being taught was just wrong, and unnecessary. And I'll go ahead and say it, like, we were going through all the different categories. We went through chicken and all the different things that could be done in chicken. I didn't have any problems with that. Ribs, that were explaining the different types of ribs, and then it gets to pork, and they show a big pork butt, a bone-in pork butt. And we were informed, Tanya and I and Adam were basically informed that we can't cook. We suck at cooks, that we don't know what we're doing because we don't cook full-on bone-in pork butts. And if you don't cook a bone-in pork butt, you're not a good cook, and you don't need to be cooking. And if you cook collars, you don't know what you're doing. And the cooks back in the day, the Tuffy Stones and the Johnny Triggs, they could cook a full butt, and they were better than all of us. And I just raised my hand politely. I said, I completely disagree with that. Like, the money muscle is what we're going for. That's the best part of the meat. I don't care who you are. That's the best part of the meat. And to sit there and say that somebody can't cook is wrong. And my reasoning to that is this is an instructor that is sitting up there telling judges that if you see just one piece of meat, one money muscle put in there, which most of these people don't even know they are, but if they put a money muscle in the box, these guys can't cook. Yep. So if you see, as a judge, if you look at a box and all you see is money muscles, well, they're not any good. So right now, we just went ahead and influenced judges by an asinine statement that is just stupid, just a stupid statement. And I said, I don't agree with this. And that's not something that needs to be taught. That's not something that's in KCBS bylaw. There's nothing about KCBS that is represented in that. Nothing. And that's what got us started. And that's what got us going. And I was like, look, that doesn't make any sense. Why you would sit up there and preach that doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, that's when they cooked, that's what they did. And they let us know what they did as cooks and everything else. And I didn't, and I thought that wasn't very, I didn't think it was called for. So I just raised my hand and I said something. I don't think I was too upset about it or rude about it. I don't think, Tanya, I could have been, but
blunt about, that's not true.
Right. And we talked afterwards, and I was like, look,
a lot of these, like you said, these are people in this class. A lot of them have never tasted barbecue or even, judged barbecue, never, cooked barbecue. There was hardly any cooks in there besides us and a few others. And like you said, that's, altering their perspective of being judges right away by telling them, if you don't see a full pork box that they can cook a whole pork butt, then they can't cook. And so that could be altering their perspective of how they're going to judge right away before they even get out there to start judging.
Right.
So I agree that, that shouldn't have been said.
And it is, I mean, and that is what it is. And that was fine. And I think it was, in the slides that were in there, you could tell they did good. All the meat and potatoes of the stuff that we needed to know was, we were told, you can go read that in the book. We won't get into that. So that, right. I mean, all the stuff that was pertaining how to judge and how the numbers are and the score and this, that, and the other was like, oh yeah, it's in your book. Go read it later.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there confused. I'm like, well, what? I left there. I can't tell you how to judge meat right now. I cannot tell you what's a 9, what's an 8, what's a 7, what's a 6, what's a 5. I know that a 5 is inedible, right? A 5 is where you can't swallow the food, right? That's
a 2, right? You can't give a 2 unless you couldn't swallow it.
That's what it was. A 2 was, yeah. 5 was poor. That's right. And 2 was inedible. See, I learned.
2, you can't swallow it.
Yeah, and a 1 is a DQ.
Yeah.
So I got all that, and that's great. Okay.
But let's back up in just a minute. You said we went through chicken and ribs, and you didn't have an issue. Let's go back to the ribs a little bit.
Yeah. So I also learned on ribs. Thanks, Tanya. I love how you're just.
Let's go back to the ribs for a little bit, and let's go back to some of the stuff we were taught on ribs.
Ribs, if you don't know, you have to take 2 bites from a rib, one on one side of the bone, flip it over, and take another bite on the other side of the bone. That is the only meat that you have to take 2 bites out of. That's what we were taught. That is not true. There is no truth to that. There is nothing in anywhere in any rule or anything that is the case. But that is what we were taught. We were taught multiple times on multiple situations that you take 2 bites of a rib. And I asked why. I said, why? I said, in every other category, it's 1 bite.
Yeah.
Why in a rib do we take 2? And cooks can't cook, and we put too much stuff on one side and not enough on the other side. So you might get something bad on one side or you might get 1 bite that has a lot of seasoning. The other bite doesn't have any seasoning. So we need to judge on both sides or some malarkey. And that to me, I'm just like, I'm mind blown. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? And then I know, because I've taken the J Cup class, because I know what's in the J Cup and I know what's being taught in that. That was not taught. And I just am confused. I left there more confused than I did I'm still glad. And I am proud to death of this right here. I am proud to death that I am now a certified judge.
And I'm going to put out there, I'm thankful for Carol and them for what they did and for teaching the class. I'm very grateful for them for teaching this class and taking the time to do this for us.
And I do know that they have barbecue. They have a interest in barbecue. I know they do. You can tell they are passionate, very passionate about barbecue. It is there. Carol is very passionate. She wouldn't be running for the board if she wasn't passionate about barbecue. My concern is like, it just doesn't make any sense of what is being taught in this. Sounds like a lot of misconceptions. Did they reference the J Cup at all? Yeah. The J Cup reference was they don't have 10 hours to go over that class and to go do it on your own. Right, Tanya?
Yeah, that's what we were told.
Don't worry about the J Cup. We don't have that much time to mess with it. Too much information. Go take it later if you want to. You don't have to. Which is disappointing. Which is very disappointing to me, because J Cup is very stringent. It has everything you need to know. If you're a judge, go take if you're a judge and you just took that class, go take J Cup as soon as we get our number. As soon as we get our number and we're able to, go take that class. And I think that'll make you a better judge. And Adam and I and Tanya, we've talked about it. It's like, man, I wish you could go sit in a judge's room when you did this so that you could know what an actual judging experience is like. Because as an organizer, I've been in both. I've seen what the judge's room is like, and I've seen what the people are turning in, and I see all that kind of stuff. Once you become a judge and you go judge for that first time, if that's what you're used to, your mind is going to be blown, because it is nothing what was experienced there. And I get the food. I've had the comment. Well, I've talked to quite a few people about this. The food is the food. I get it. 100% the food's the food. But you're taking a class that is so irrelevant and it is just so far-fetched from what competition barbecue is. It blows my mind. As Tanya mentioned earlier, like, the food that we were presented with was not barbecue. It was not competition barbecue. It was food truck barbecue, and it was good food truck barbecue, but it was not competition style barbecue. And it was one of those things. It was like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, I get it. They want to show all the different ways that you can do stuff, but at least, Tanya, right? At least have one category or one.
Something was good.
Yeah.
Where you can actually, I don't know. I took away from the class, like, to me, going out of that class, I would be thinking in my mind right away that when all these judges go out for the first time to judge, they got it in their mind that it's okay that we're going to give out a lot of 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
And that's normal. And that's okay. And that's not what you want. I mean, I'm not saying go out here and give everybody 9s by no means, but I don't want them to know that, okay, unless it really blows your mind and it's over the top, then a 5 and 6 is okay. I mean, everybody works so hard that they don't deserve that. That's very low scores. I mean, you don't see that. We don't see that on our score sheet. I don't think I've ever seen one.
No,
I don't
and I get the whole compare, like
think 6. I
the
mean,
whole thing to me, and I understand 100%. I understand the no comparison judging. I get it 100%. I completely understand no comparison judging.
but
Right,
that's
like
hard to do. I
it's
mean,
hard to, and when I say no
I asked
comparison judging,
several times, and we heard somebody say right away when she asked, "Why did you?" Because I was waiting. Because what did the guy say? He compared it right away when she asked him. And she
yeah.
said, there is no comparing, but that's how the mind works, and that's how a lot of them are going to do.
But to me, like the comparison is yes, don't compare it to the other entries on your table. 100%, I get it. I like you've got to compare it to something, right? Like excellent barbecue is compared to something. Fair barbecue is compared to something. What is that something that we're comparing it to? What is it? What is it that people are that we're trying to judge us? I can't tell you if it's a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, or a 5. Right now, it's poor, fair, good, very good, and excellent. Okay. So I had amazing food this weekend. Next weekend, it's not quite as amazing. It's not quite as excellent. So do I give that a 9 or do I give it an 8? Or do I just keep doing everything on my own and just start? They say to start fresh every time. I understand that. But how does that work mentally? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I wish. And I do know that Jacob digs in deeper to all of that stuff. But Jacob takes up too much time to teach, apparently. So
the class, maybe that should have been pushed a little more. How important it was to go do the J Cup after you do the class, though, and it wasn't like how that is important. To go do that to further your knowledge that you didn't learn in this 4-hour window, and that's all you learned.
right,
Like,
yeah. So Stacy
great,
was 4 hours.
Further education, go out and judge because you've learned it all. And
right, and yeah, you're right, little gringo. A lot of organizers want to do the J Cup, and me as an organizer today, let's do J Cup. Let's make sure we do J Cup. Jody, I agree with that. I love that. They're supposed to, within the idea that his comp cook is typically one that cooks the food for the judge. How do you, Matt Osman, how they told you to cook? All right. So sometimes it could be incorporated into the class. Well, I'm under the understanding that some of this stuff is supposed to be incorporated into the class. It's just up to, do they do it? And I have firmly believed that there's that every class, they said that every class was the same across the country. I don't believe that's the case because there was a lot of individual stuff thrown in to their beliefs on the way competition barbecue should be and the way judges should be and how cooks are today compared to how they were when they were cooking and everything like that, which however you want to look at that, it is what it is. But I think it's, Tanya, you tell me. I mean, you haven't been doing this long, but in the short amount of time y'all have done it, it's not the same, right? Like competition barbecue is evolving and changing all the time.
We've only been doing it for this is our 3rd full year, and it's changed since we started. I mean, that's how it changes, and I can only imagine how it's changed since they started back when she said Johnny Trigg and Tuffy Stone and all them were cooking in it, and it's not the same. I mean, if they come in and cook pork now, and they turn in the pork like they used to turn in, like she was talking about from Barbecue Pitmasters, they're not going to score well. I mean, that's just a fact. It's not the same level now as it was back then. I mean, you can go back and watch those shows and look at the boxes they turned in. And if we turned in boxes like that now, we would get 6s in appearance. I mean, it's just not going to happen. The level has changed, and you have to change with it.
Right. And that's what
you can't teach that level from back then. Like you said, you can't teach, oh, well, if you can't cook a whole pork butt, you can't cook when, the best part of the pork is the money muscles. I mean, that's just a fact.
Right. And yeah, I mean, there's other things, but you're trying to make, I mean, I've seen a lot of people turn in money muscles chunked, medallions, chopped,
in the bottom.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of it, and beat me. I mean, you know,
and it's good. And like, there's different ways of doing it. So just like being closed-minded is not good in any way.
I I don't think it was instilled enough to judge what's in the box. Don't judge what you think should be in that box. I think we were kind of taught a little bit of what they think should be in that box, and that's not what you're supposed to judge on. You're supposed to judge what's presented to you in that box. And I think that should have been instilled a little bit more of you're only judging what's presented to you in that box, not what you think should be in that box.
Right. Well, Matt, I don't know what they're trained on. I don't know what they're trained on. That's the problem. The rules are you judge what's in the box. Doesn't have anything to do with the cooks. That has something to do with the rules of what they're supposed to be doing is judging in the box. And they did say that. She did say you only judge what's in the box. You don't have any expectations. You don't have to have burn-ins. You don't have to have all these other things. So, I mean, she did a good job of that. She did a really good job of saying, judge what's in the box, and don't have expectations because you're not going to get what you want. And that's true, right? Like there was a lot of the 75% of the class was very spot on, useful, and good. It was just some of the other things that just, didn't line up. I mean, she did say don't use a fork because cooks don't want you to use a fork on their meat, right? Like don't stab the meat with a fork. She did say that, but she's like, cooks don't want that, and that makes sense. As a cook, we don't want them stabbing it. But it's very. Tanya, do you have anything you want to say? Let me read these comments real quick.
That's what I was trying to read too.
Yes, they do at each contest. Yes. Where am I at? They keep coming in here. Offered at the class versus what's turned in regionally at comps. But see, the whole thing is it's not supposed to matter what's turned in regionally or whatever. It's supposed to be whatever's in the box. Like it doesn't matter if you're in Sweden or if you're in Alaska, or if you're in Florida, if you're in Australia, it shouldn't matter. And it is what it is. I took the same class. I felt given a 6 or 7 for that crappy box we were given wasn't acceptable, too low. Yeah, I mean, I looked at this stuff. I was like, how am I going to get? I've got to give this a 5 and a 6.
That's like you looked at Adam one time and you said, like, Adam, you gave it an 8. What were you thinking? Because it was, it was a 5 any day of the week, and he was like, well, I was trying to be nice, and he was like, you can't be nice.
I said 7 says good. Are you telling me that was good? He was like, no. I was like, well, you just gave it a 7. What are we doing? Nice. And I get it. I 100% get it, because then if you don't give the good scores, you don't get to come back.
Come back to judge. Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. But I look at this thing, and I know we've got stuff going on, and I know there's so many cool things happening. And I know that there's a lot of smart people trying to get this stuff figured out, and I know they're going to get it figured out. And it's so interesting to me that, and I would go back again 100 times and take the class over and over again, because I want to do it. I want to support KCBS. I want to be a part of this. I want more and more people to take classes. I want more and more people to be doing this. And I want more cooks to come out and cook. And I want more customers buying product so that we can stay in business at the Atlanta barbecue store, right? Like I want all of this stuff to grow. I want all this stuff to happen. And and I don't want to come across as I'm like whatever, but it's like at some point in time, we got to get like across the board. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Dan, we got 3 legs and 3 thighs in one box, and then we had chicken breast in another box. The class should be just go take Jacob online and you're a judge, in my opinion. Did you guys write any comment cards? No, we did not write comment cards. We saw an example of a comment card, but we did not get to write any comment cards. One of the biggest issues we saw with the judges class was they focused on too much bad barbecue, and not there you go. Yeah. What was the cost to become a certified judge? We paid $85. That's not bad at all. $85 to be a judge. I mean, you got to be a KCBS member, and that ranges from class to class, place to place. The cost is the cost depending on what it costs the organizer, whatever. to put on the class, to cover meat, to cover the KCBS reps. So that could vary wherever. I don't like the definition differences of very good and excellent. I didn't see a definition of. Did you see the definitions of very good and excellent? I mean, it could be in our book. Let's see if it's in our book here. Look at this. I got the book. I got the book to prove that I did this.
Very good. Yep. No stipulation. And that goes back to what's always going to make it hard. We're in a sport and hobby here where everybody's palate is different. And that's always going to make it harder, to please everybody. Because, if you really hate spicy food, you're not supposed to be, you're supposed to judge that just like you would if it was sweet, even though you hate spicy. But some people's mind just doesn't work that way. And that's just the way it's always going to be, which is why it's great that KCBS has a drop score. At least we have that, where FBA, there is no drop score. So it's even worse than, at least we have that.
Yeah. And look, I don't want to get in on I was talking to one of my buddies today, and it's like, what would have probably been better is they give us different kind of cookies or give us something else and say, hey, rate these cookies. Like, because the whole thing should be learning the process of judging, not necessarily learning the process, like not on necessarily barbecue. So it could be anything.
Like what makes something excellent? What makes something excellent? What makes something very good? We don't know. My definition of very good could be totally different than your definition of very good. So, I mean, that's always going to be hard.
Well, just don't compare it.
That's right.
Tanya, what's going to be your first contest to judge?
I don't know. It's going to be hard because right now, Adam's going to always want to cook. He's going to be like, I don't want to judge, I want to cook. So every time we go somewhere, I'm going to be like, oh, well, we could judge here. No, we got to cook. So that's going to be hard right now. Every time we go somewhere, I think I don't want to chase points. We'll never right now ever be able to chase points because, with chicken houses, we just can't. And so to me, I don't really like a lot of times doing the burns on Friday night because that would be a good opportunity where we could maybe judge on Friday night and then, start doing a little bit of both that way. And that way we can, try to start getting some judging in and learn, because I want to learn too. I think only way the judges, including myself, are going to be able to learn would be to judge some. You have to be in the room and be able to do it, not just, talk about it. You have to actually.
Like that first time going to a contest and judging is going to be so fun. And that's going to be it's going to be eye-opening. Number one, the amount of food that you're going to eat seems to be just
That's
crazy.
why I said do a burn, then I only have to eat one.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's going to be very interesting, right? Like, and then just going back and forth, as you say, and trying to figure out, because there was times I was like, oh, I wish I would have changed that score. And I know you're not allowed to change the score. So you got to get good at nailing that, like right away. What's your first impression and go with it. You can't really be changing, swaying back and forth, and you got to stick it. You got to stick to it. I can't wait. I think, there you go. I mean, there you go. I think that's great. I would, and if you want to get a 10, you just turn in Atlanta barbecue to meat. There you go. That'll get you the 10, right, Brad? No, just kidding. But I can't wait because that, like you said, I think you're going to learn. Like the more that you learn, like I would love to talk to judges, and I know Jody, I know y'all have been in here and y'all have judged a lot. I would like to know the difference. Like, man, what was your first contest to your 50th contest or whatever? How much different is it from day one to 2 years in, 3 years in, 4 years in? How much has it changed as you as a judge? Little Gringo, you get that answer great, I'm sure. How different has you as a judge, like us as cooks, we change and we try to adapt and everything else. As a judge, how much do you change and adapt? Because you've got to, right? Like from what we've learned in there, you've got to adapt and you've got to change your way of doing things. And that's interesting. Maybe I'll get Little Gringo to come on one time and we can talk to him, right? Like as a judge, what's happened? And how can you do that? That would be great. How do you feel about those judges walking around with a pocket full of sevens? But okay, here's my problem. Sevens is good food.
That says good. You know, what's the standard on what is good? A 7 says good. That was
Right.
good. I mean, you know, that goes back to perspective of what is good, what is excellent, what is very good. And that makes
if we get a 7, we're done.
Yep. And that's why I felt like when I came out of this class that these were taught that 5, 6, and 7s are normal. And that's not normal. And I think that's what was taught. I think that when you go to a judging class, you should be given the level of food that you normally get at a contest, not the level of food that we were given, because that's not what you normally see. And I think in the class we were taught more of what we're not going to see than what we're going to see.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily. It would be hard to expect competition style barbecue to be delivered at a class like this. I understand that. With one team trying to do that, that is asking a lot. That is preparing a lot. And the food cost and everything else would be a lot. I get all that, but I also understand that you can come close.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you feel like in the class we were taught more of what is wrong with boxes and what can be a problem with the box than actually what is a good barbecue box that you're given?
Yes. Now that you say it, that's a great question. Yeah, it was more of it Brad, they don't pay for it. It is more of what's wrong with this box more so than like judging the box. It was find out where the mistakes are in this box. And I get it. I completely that like now that we say this, it makes sense of we want you to try to find what's wrong with it. Right. And I would
even us and even
David, I haven't had a chance to read your comment yet. I haven't stopped. So don't give up on me. I'm going to try to read it in a second. I haven't had a chance to read your comment yet. Sorry. Keep going.
Even us, you know, one of the mistakes, and they're like, okay, well, what was wrong with this box? And you're talking about us as cooks and all of us, and even, you know, at our table, the one handing the box around, and we're all looking, and none of us can figure out what's wrong with this box. And it's like, if we have to look that hard, it's like, come on, you know?
I'm never going to find it.
Like, we don't have to look that hard to find a problem. So, you know, I think more focus should have been put on, like they said, what kind of scores are you normally going to see at a contest and why?
Jody hit the nail on the head, and you're next, David. I'm going to read your question next. My first contest, I sure wish I could see other judges' scores because I wasn't confident with my scores. 100%. 100%. I don't know what, like, and you can't look, right? Like, you got to hide it. It's like, you know, and I caught myself looking like, Adam, you did that? And then I was like, Tanya, me and you got the same scores, like, right? Like, I mean, it's like, oh, this is crazy. And this isn't the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way it is. And I'm going to stop talking, Tanya. You can talk. I've got to read this question by David because he's asking me something. I got to ask. Right. I'm curious what, in your opinion, could have been done to make the class a better experience. I think the feedback should be sent to KCBS along with your assessment of the gaps. In my opinion, that class should be consistent across the board. I think reps' personal opinions, i.e., only turning in money muscle signifies a weak cook. They are classes that have led to many of the inconsistencies. I agree 100%. Apparently, we were supposed to get a critique form. We didn't get a critique form. We've got a critique form. I'm going to send in a critique form. And I told people, I was like, look, y'all, the whole board watches this show. They're going to get my critique of how I felt. So they're going to see it, trust me. And I'm going to hear about it. And I apologize. I love KCBS. I want the best for KCBS. KCBS is very important to me. That's all I am. I will stand on the rock that the KCBS is the biggest, baddest, best sanctioning body, judges. I will put up KCBS judges against any other judge in the world. FBA, GBA, blah, blah, blahs, whatever. KCBS is the best. By far, hands down, bar none, they're the biggest, baddest there is, in my opinion. Love them to death. I just want what's best for KCBS. I just want what's best. And that's my take on it. So what could be done different is teach the same class, teach J-Cup, take all of the personal agenda out of it and just teach the class. That's what I would do. All right.
Everybody can give their own personal opinions about stuff, but there's a place to do that, and teaching a class is not one of them. Like I can't say my personal opinion on, oh, I think you should always put 8 ribs in the box or 6 ribs in a box. That's my opinion. Just like, you should put more pieces of a pork butt in there besides money muscle. That's my opinion. That's not something that should be related to in a class.
I still think judges are good.
But I think it would be really cool if after you go through a judging class, if you could go and like Jody said, go watch and see others judge at a contest before you actually give your own scores and judge. I wish you could go sit in and just do that before you actually judge your first time. I think that would really help you to be able to watch and see where like you said, you can't watch, you have to do your own, everything's a secret. You can't look at other people's scores. I think that would be something that would help judges if they could do that.
Right. No, Brad, KCBS has nothing to do with these classes. The organizer pays KCBS instructors to come to the class to do it. The organizer of the event is responsible for finding the cook, finding the supplying the meat, finding the venue, everything else. KCBS has nothing to do with anything about these classes other than bringing in and other than the organizer bringing in the instructor to put the class on. No, Brad, I will say this, and this is what I wanted to get at. And that's why I want to talk to judges about how do you get to, because I do think that the judges are good. I think for most part, the judges are hitting it the nail on the head right now. And I think that the judges are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. My question is how do they get there? How do they figure that out? How long does it take them to figure it out? And judge coordinators, right? Like a judge coordinator, it's going to take you. And Carol, Miss Bigler did say that it's going to take time. Get on the list, get in there, see if you can't find a way to get on there, because you got to prove yourself basically in order to have a chance to get to be a judge. And there's truth to that. No, I don't think judges are bad. I think overall, hear me out. I think that we're doing okay. I think contests are getting the right winners. I think the cream rises to the top all the time. And to me, I think that's not the issue. I don't think the judging is the issue, personally. I think the fact that there's different classes being taught is the issues. And I think it's great. I love all this. Think about it from this side, even though we have all been to school, so understand grading this. Yep. And you know what? That is the whole thing. It's supposed to be an 8 is a B, a 7 is a C, a 6 is a D, 5 is an F, and a 9 is an A. I get that. That was never explained during the class. That's my point to the whole thing. Why do organizers take on the responsibility of the class? I don't know. David going so cook. All right, Tanya, you got anything? I know I'm just sitting here trying to read the comments, everybody. I'm trying to do what we do on the show and then give everybody what they want to hear.
Well, like Joelle just said, 7 is good. So if you get a 7, we're devastated because we know we're done. But 7 is good. But there's so many judges now that, like you said, aren't handing out 7s, because if they give out too many 7s, they're not asked to come back and judge at contests sometimes, because they might be so much low scoring than the other tables, because we don't want to see a 7 on our score sheet because we know we're done. But that's where the standard has become right now. And I'm not going to say because there's so many good cooks out there and that's why, but that just seems the way the scoring system is right now. We don't want to see 7s, even though technically you should see 7s because that is considered good. And technically everybody's food is not excellent. I mean, that's just a fact. We're not all excellent. Every food we're turning can't be excellent. That's just, there's no standard for that everybody can just have excellent food every time.
Right. 100%. And Brad, I love it. I agree 100% with you. Which is going to lead. I did not have any intentions of talking about this for 45 minutes. Didn't mean to do that, but we did. Here we are. And Brad says, I think we're filling while Rome burns, focusing on the wrong issues. And I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Like seating charts, seating tables, whatever. Who cares about that? That's fine. The good teams are going to come to the top no matter where you sit, no matter where these judges sit. Consistently good, neutral, perfectly cooked, tender meat is going to win contest every single week. I don't care who's sitting at a table or where the tables are or what the judging, if they're on their heads. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. We've got to figure out, there's more to it. And I've had conversations with some of these people here today. We've got to get more contests. We've got to get more judges. We've got to get more cook teams. We've got to grow barbecue. We have a special election coming up. It opened today. Go vote, y'all. Go vote. Think about this. We had 7 or 8 people running for 3 spots, 3 full-time spots on the board. We got a special election. We've got 10 people running for 1 spot. Y'all go read their things, their bios. Some of these people, I don't know what happened. We've got to figure out the issues, what's going on with KCBS, and address them. Address them with your votes. My thing is, we can't live in the past. My whole thing with this class, we can't live in the past. There are certain people that want to live in the past. We can't do that. You know, making comments, oh, some of the rules in this is because Carolyn Wells and her husband drank too much and they came up with too many rules. That we can't have that. In my opinion, we've got to figure out what's going on in KCBS and do what we need to do. It's like people are coming. Yeah, I can't either, Carrie. People are coming out of the woodwork for a 1-year term. And for where were they when where were all these people
for the first election?
For the first election. I don't understand. I would
have thought when it came up to do it again, okay, it would have been the same people that was from the first election that didn't get on the first 3 slots. It would have been the same people on this one. But then, like you said, bam, no, here are all these people come out of the woodwork. Now all of a sudden we want to run. Why? Why now?
Yeah, and my thing is and I get it. There's bylaws and things happened and this, that, and the other, and I get all that. That makes sense. You got to follow the rules. If we're not following the rules and we're not following that, because I'm the first one to say we need more procedures. We need to make sure that we're abiding by the rules. If that's the rule, that's the rule. Great. Roll with it. My question is just what is the reasoning that people are coming out of the woodworks to do this when they wouldn't do it before? I don't get it. Is it just to stop people from winning? I don't understand. Maybe it is. If that's what it is, more power to you. But just go look at who's in there running and what they're doing. And just make sure that you look at what's best for barbecue in your opinion. If you think that in your opinion, you stick with what you believe and vote for it, right? Roll with it. And do what you need to do, because we've got to get some of this stuff under control. We've got a new board coming in, new things changing, things are happening, new president coming on. The old president got voted out, new president coming on. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I don't think Brad's saying Rome's burning. I don't think Rome's burning completely. I don't think it's burnt down yet. It ain't burnt down, but it can be fixed. And there's some things that can happen. And go do what you need to do. Like, it's still the greatest sanctioning body. Let's take pride in it. Y'all vote. Go vote. Go do what you need to do. We need to get this thing rolling again. We need to get more contests. We need to make sure that contests are happening. We need to make sure that we have more cooks showing up. We need to figure out how we can get more cooks showing up. If that is, and I don't know, I am by no means a board member. I'm no means anything, but if it's trying to you know what, I think we're going to start calling it a four meat master and a 2 meat master. We're going to get rid of all these other distinguishing names. It's either a 4 meat master contest or a 2 meat master contest. We're all cooks. I've heard it all weekend that backyard cooks are just as good as pros, and I agree 100% in that. I agree 100% that the backyard teams are just as good as the pro teams. 100%. I don't get paid for anything for going to cook. How am I a pro? Right? Like, I cook 4 meats, so now I'm a pro. There are way more 2-meat contests around there, especially in the Southeast, than there are 4-meat contests. How are we going to grow it? Give people an opportunity to go cook. Give people an opportunity to go cook and do what they want to do. And it is what it is. I really put my name for specialists because I feel like it would help make a difference with processes and rule comments. Unfortunately, had some personal things going, pull it out. Yeah, I still say wait till next year. Who do we need to vote for? That's up to you. You figure that out. I'm going to know who I'm voting for. Y'all all know who I'm voting for. I know, David. Neither you are. You are a pro, David. With that hair, you are. But it is what it is. We've got ours. I don't want this to be tonight is not about me telling you who to vote for, who not to vote for, or any of that kind of stuff. That's not my thing tonight. Is I want KCBS to start making sure everything is the same across the board, pushing the same agenda, making sure that we do things that are on board. And if they think that they're doing things that are right and they're not, they need to figure that out and get it going. But anyway, does anybody else have anything you want? Tanya, you got anything else you want to say?
You're saying it all. That was pretty good.
I'm sorry. That's what I do best.
I agree. Vote for who you think you should vote for, and get out there and vote.
Right.
And read the bios. That's very important.
Yeah, we could use a lot of stuff. Consistency and transparency. Let's go. Amen, David. I love that. That's what it's all about. Let's make it happen, and look, if we can all work together to make this happen, please, let's all work together to make it happen. Let's all be on the same page. Let's not point fingers and say they're. And I know I did that a little bit tonight, but that's my thing on that is it's not pointing fingers at any certain person. It is really a thing that KCBS needs to know what's going on, and please try to figure it out. But anyway, that's my take on it there. I was asked what I thought about the class. I love the class. I'm proud to death that I am official. Look at that. I'm an official judge's certification. I made it. I took the oath. We took the oath, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go judge. I'm ready to go do it. I got my pins. Look, I've added my pin here. This is the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic pin that we had this year. We did not know that how important pins were when we first started doing our our contest. Judges love pins, collect pins. And we got a great pin. Look at this bad boy. I love this pin. I think it's great. Look at that guy. Yeah, look at that. I love that thing. That's so cool. Big old muscles on there. What's up, Lex? There you go. Read her comments. Yeah. Brad's going to Thailand and not
Read
coming
the comments.
back.
Vote Lex.
So y'all, I love barbecue. I love all of y'all. Ellen is terrified to death that I'm gonna say so. I want what's best for all of us. And whatever it is, let's all get behind it and roll with it. But just know what you believe, know what you want, stand behind it, push your agenda, do what you need to do, go cook barbecue and invite your neighbor to go cook. Do anything and everything we can to get more cooks doing this. Do a podcast. Don't do any more podcasts. Go cook. Go do a YouTube video. Next time you go cook, do a YouTube video. Throw it out there. Who knows? You might get viral. Get people on there trying to love cooking barbecue. We need more and more and more teams cooking barbecue. We need more sponsors in barbecue. We need more contests in barbecue. And if whatever it takes, just be passionate about it. And and be awesome.
That's right.
Right. Just not on Monday night if you're going to do a podcast. Right. Exactly. Exactly, little gringo. We do our best to put on a show here, and I appreciate it. We took a little bit of time off, but we're back. We're getting back into this thing hot and heavy. I love it. We've been working on our contest, getting ready for that again. Signups are going to be coming available for that. Sip and Swine here in Georgia is coming up in a couple months. Get signed up for that. I think I heard Smoke on the Shores is up to 160 teams or something crazy. That's awesome. Love to see it. Love to see the good contest doing well. Go support them. That's going to be awesome. Chewin dominates the time slide. Yeah, right. All because of you, little gringo. All because of you, buddy. Man, I tell you what, y'all are the best. This show never happens without our comments. Tanya, you see, it's easy to get caught up in reading comments. It's so much fun. I thank y'all for coming on and watching and talking. It's cool. I love barbecue. If you can't tell, I'm passionate about this. I love it. I am very grateful for the KCBS board. I'm grateful that everybody's pouring their time into this. I'm grateful for CBA, that board. I'm grateful for GBA, all the different organizers, sanctioning bodies. So grateful that y'all are doing what you're doing because you have passion and you care. And I'm just grateful and thank you for what you do. And it's going to be, and I can't wait to see what 2025 has to do with barbecue. It's going to be a heck of a year. And I will say this: if y'all have noticed the points chase, Brad's got a big lead. He made a comment to me about our contest. He said November points count just as much as October points. And if you're waiting around to start cooking until the weather's just perfect or in your area, you might be left behind. You might need to start thinking about signing up for some of these end of the year contest, beginning of the season contest. And what better contest to start off with than the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic? Get that right, Tanya?
That's right. Best one there is.
That's what I'm talking about. So, God bless America.
Peaches.
Yeah, we've been working on the peaches too and getting all that going. You know what? Adam talks way more than Tanya in person.
He does. He loves to talk in person. I don't know what a camera does to him, but he
if you can get Adam, and I'm telling you, we were talking about on the way up there, Adam's going to come out of his shell, and when he does, y'all are going to be like, that dude knows some barbecue. And it's fun to learn. Any idea why NBN, other than the amounts of teams, doesn't have all these issues? NBN doesn't have issues? It's good to hear. I wonder if that's true. Smokes. 106 teams at Smoke on the Shores. 106. Okay, I was told 106 pro teams plus another like 50. Yeah. Pretty awesome. Man, Charles, good to see you on there. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. That dude right there he works hard on this stuff, man. I'm telling you, Charles is a huge passion for barbecue. And I appreciate the amount of time and effort he puts into all this. Y'all don't know how much time and effort he puts into this. Great to see. I don't know if you're wrong or not. I've never cooked an MBN contest. I'd love to. But it's so fun to see. And guys, it's already been an hour. Tanya, that was a fast hour, wasn't it?
Yep.
Can you believe you made it?
I did. And I'm not asleep yet.
I know, right? You said you were going to make it.
I know.
Guys, remember, voting, I think the voting goes until November. Charles, when does voting go till sometime in, I don't know if it's 1 week or 2 weeks. I should know that. I don't. But please vote.
Voting
is that our guy? Do what?
February 5th.
Who's that?
That's your man over there. He just got.
Yeah. He hadn't come on?
No. He's like, it's almost over now.
Holy smokes. February 5th. I got a 7th. I got a 5th. What'd you say it was?
I thought it was the 5th.
Yeah, I think it's the 5th. 5th. Thank you. So we have until February 5th. Today until February 5th. Vote. Right?
Yep.
And just do what you can to vote. And vote. Do some studying. I know a lot of people probably already voted. I don't know any. I have no clue. But go ahead and vote. Get it in there. Do studying. KCBS sent everybody an email today. It's right on their website. It's extremely easy. Tell you, like, just click on 2 buttons and you're there, and you can see everything you need to see, and make your decision off that, and roll with it, and it's going to be great. So, thanks, Brian. See you all in Tennessee. Still looking for borrow a few cans. So I don't. Oh, I'm not going to be in Tennessee. I wish I was going to be in Tennessee. If you need some cans, reach out. Talk to people on here. I guarantee you we can find somebody that can get you some cans. I don't have any. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. I'm going to be at Sip and Swine. But other than that, Tanya, you got anything? Does Adam have anything he wants to leave us with tonight? Does he want to come on and say hello?
Here he comes.
Oh. Don't struggle too much there, Adam. Oh, there he is. What's going on, my man?
Nothing.
How did we get everything squared away with the fires?
I hope so.
All right, good. Hey, anything you want to say about the class?
No, I think y'all summed it up pretty good.
Anything you want to say about the elections?
Get out and vote. Vote for our good friend, Lex.
There you go. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. Adam, great seeing you. You know we'll be talking soon. Y'all all have a wonderful week. Vote. Next time I see you, hopefully you voted. We will see you next week. And Adam will be available next week, right?
Yep.
We will see you. We'll both see you next week on Chewin the BBQ Fat. Have a good one, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.